Hello, everyone. Welcome to ChiNet, where we spill the tea on tech careers before the machines take over. I'm your host, and today we're talking to someone who's basically cracked the code on building a bulletproof tech career in 2025. Meet Agam Mishra. This is a guy whom I call a career strategist because while most of us, pigeon ourselves into one specific specialty, Agam looked at the tech landscape and said, "No, I'm going to be indispensable." But here's where things get impressive. He's actually managed to start his career and then go to a senior level in just 3 years at the same company. That's kind of a rapid progression, which otherwise we think happens only if you're job hopping and switching every second year. Now, but if this wasn't ambitious enough, he's actually pursuing his MBA in project management while working full time. That's probably like a dream of all of us, right? Like keep studying and keep working. What makes his story fascinating is that he represents the future of tech careers. Software engineers who expand beyond just writing code, because that's, I think, something which ChatGPT can also do, to understand business requirements, architecture, project management, client communication, the whole landscape, right? And if you've ever wondered how you can future proof your tech career, make it AI resistant, grow rapidly within one company, or successfully combine technical depth with business acumen, you're about to get a masterclass. Agam, welcome to ChiNet. Let's start with very basics. Tell us who you are and what makes your role unique at your current company.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Rachit. So, a very good evening to all of you. So, I am a senior software engineer at GlobalLogic. So, along with my code development skills, which includes end-to-end feature development, API integrations, debugging the existing code or the issues which comes into the project, and optimizing the code. I also take on business analyst responsibilities, even though it is not an official title here. So what makes my role unique is that I wear multiple hats, from coding and designing solution to gathering requirements and working closely with clients. So it makes my job little bit more dynamic in nature, and I used to think beyond the code and understand that how everything fits into a bigger business picture. So if you talk about my academics, currently I am pursuing MBA in project management, which is adding another layer into my career.
Amazing. That's an amazing thing that you're actually doing two things together, and I think we'll come back to that in one of the questions. But let's just get down to it, right? So in 2025, after the whole AI revolution which is coming for us, um, how do you think requirement gathering is changing? We all know how cursor is impacting code, but how is the requirement gathering and business analyst side has been changing? Has there been any impact because of AI tools? Are you using some tools? And what's been the most surprising impact of AI in your requirement gathering work, I would like to ask.
Yeah, so Rachit, AI has made a big difference in our lives in all which are in technical fields or in functional fields or techno-functional fields. So it has made a change in how we draft the documents and gather the requirements. So we use several tools like ChatGPT, which is one of the most famous nowadays used tool. So basically, I want to mention one special tool like some Meet Assist tools are there, like Gemini Meet Assist is there. So basically, they are summarizing your minutes of meetings. They are summarizing the structure of your documents. So basically, what is happening that before, when we are into a stakeholder call or a client call, we wish to take out a pen, paper, and we are just noting out the important points and important things which they are telling to us. But now we have an option to switch towards the cognitive and analytical part of that, because that mechanical work is done by some AI bot, some AI tool. So basically, it is structuring our cognitive and analytical power in a more better way. So what used to take hours, first we take minutes of meetings, then we discuss on dash points. Now parallelly we can discuss those points if we don't need to schedule meetings after meetings. So the most surprising part is that it saves time and also let us think better, and some edge cases which we often miss. So it covers that. So it is like having a second body or second set of eye if you use it wisely and carefully.
Right, right. It's like having an intern with you forever, right? Who can actually help you in a lot of things, right? So now there's a, I've been wondering that what we usually think is that, um, like there are two parts to get into business, right? Either you get through the arts, commerce, all that side, or you get from the technical side.
Right.
Are there any technical skills which you think that if you move from tech to business, right? What technical things are there which actually help, and what do you think don't really help, and we think that they're going to help? Like, does it really make sense to get into? Does it help if you're getting into business analytics and MBA and all of that from an engineering background and while working and after, let's say, experience?
Yeah, so people what often thinks that they need to learn business terminologies, or they need to do MBA, they need to do some very fancy courses. I will use that word even before switching into this business analyst or management field. But honestly, what I think that what more helps is system thinking. If you understand that how different parts of system are talking to each other, how data is flowing into your system, and you can understand it in a better way, and you are able to make someone else to understand it. So basically, if you are able to tackle these 2 points, you don't need to have you need to have learned buzzwords, you don't need to learn terminologies. They can add a feather in your cap, but they are not the only thing. That if you are doing a MBA, if you are doing some course, then it will ensure that you are a good business analyst or manager. So communication and curiosity of the system in which you are working, that matters the most first of all. After that, you can add a cherry on your cake.
Got it. So what you mean to say is कि ओवरऑल स्ट्रक्चर और मतलब क्या हो रहा है, कैसे हो रहा है, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है.
Right.
एंड मतलब एग्जैक्टली आपको टर्मिनोलॉजी पता है, बजवर्ड्स पता है, कोडिंग आती है या नहीं, उसका इतना इम्पैक्ट नहीं है अनलेस अगर आपको पूरा आर्किटेक्चर समझ में आ रहा है और पूरा आपको ओवरऑल नॉलेज है तो.
Right.
राइट.
Right. Right.
अंडरस्टूड. अमेजिंग. अच्छा, सो बिट अबाउट योर करियर नाउ. तो आप मतलब एसोसिएट से आपने स्टार्ट करा, आप सीनियर सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर तक पहुंच गए 3 साल में, राइट, विच इज प्रीटी impressive. And especially given today's condition where there have been people are scared of layoffs, people are getting laid off by hundreds and thousands, and you are actually progressing your career. So आपके लिए क्या factors you think, what factors are there which even in the advent of this AI you are actually progressing, and what others can also follow?
Yeah, so honestly, Rachit, I didn't plan it that way. That I haven't thought that I will go from that level to that level, or I will do masters in parallel. So I just tried to take ownership wherever I could. If someone needed to be done, even if it wasn't my task, I stepped into it. If there are calls in which I was not at it, I asked my managers, I asked my team leads, let me add in the call. I will see that how things are working, how system flow is working. So I made sure to understand the full picture. If you because there is a corner in the room in which you are working in a big MNC or in a company. You do not, you have to navigate into the whole room. Nobody will say that navigate this part, navigate that part. So it impacts that how you are joining your client calls, how you are interacting with the end user, how you are interacting with the stakeholders. So that helped me to speak up in discussion and contribute just beyond the development. So and to be real, in earlier days I did not have the full business flow as everyone have. When I joined the call, I was not able to understand that what is happening in that service, in this service. But I always made an effort to learn them. And always the basic things that I always ask questions to our leads, our stakeholders, that how this flow is working, how it is working, what impact it will do if we do like that, like this. So stay consistent with it, and I think that's what added up over the time.
राइट. मतलब मीटिंग्स में एक तो घुस जाओ और इतना
Right.
सोचो मत. सबसे बोल दो, कोई मीटिंग अगर पता है हो रही है और आपसे रिलेटेड है तो बोल दो कि यार आई वांट टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ द मीटिंग,
Yeah.
एंड देन आस्क अ लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. आई थिंक
Yeah.
that's very important. I think I've also learned that the smartest person in the room is not the one who's answering questions, is actually who's the one who's asking questions.
Asking questions. Right.
Exactly. That's very counterintuitive because we think that जो जिसको सब आता है, जो सब आंसर कर रहा है, वो सबसे स्मार्ट होगा. बट एक्चुअली में जो पूछ रहा है वो सबसे स्मार्ट है क्योंकि
Because
उसको पता है.
yeah, जो
राइट.
पूछ रहा है वो सुन ज्यादा रहा है.
वो सुन ज़्यादा रहा है,
सुन
हाँ,
ज़्यादा है।
एग्ज़ैक्टली। और सच सच चीज़ें उसको ही आती हैं। तो
राइट।
अच्छा, आपने मेरे को एंटरप्राइज़ आपने बोला, अच्छा, कि आपको आप एक एंटरप्राइज़ में काम कर रहे हो, तो फिर आप एक जगह पे स्टक हो और आपको अगर बीच में आना है, तो फिर आपको लगना पड़ेगा। मतलब इट इज़ नॉट अ डिफाइंड पाथ, यू हैव टू फाइट फॉर इट। सो
Yeah.
a little bit about global logic. So it's a very the company itself, it's from what I have heard, maybe I'm wrong, but it works as a startup. Things are remote, but it has the Hitachi enterprise tag. So how does your day to day play out? Like when you're do you work on like complex enterprise software, or do you work like a startup and you're just quickly shipping things and things are breaking, or like how is your what does your day look like?
Yeah, so now, as you mentioned, that the first GlobalLogic started as a startup, and it is taken over by Hitachi Group. So it's true that even though we are part of a big company, still that day to day is very agile for us. We do not we never we are not like we are working in a MNC. We are working in a startup. Means we talk to our alumni that what happened before and what is happening right now. So they said that that is not so much change because we don't have a layer of red tape in global logic. Means as I told you just before that if you want to go into a meeting, if you want to learn something new, then everyone is supporting here. Everyone, the whole team, whole management is supportive here. So you can just speak up and try it. Anything you want to try, any tool you want to try, any feedback you want to give. I can give you a little example that even if trainee software engineer is there and he have some idea to give to stakeholders, his idea is given to the stakeholders that this guy have some idea. So basically, you get a freedom and ownership here. So especially when we are building a complex system where things are changing very fast in a very rapid manner, so that ownership and the miss of the red tapeism, so that matters a lot. So we get that much here. That's why it is still maintaining its startup culture even after it is taken over by a MNC, Hitachi Group.
Amazing. That's very interesting, and that's usually very difficult to do for companies. But yeah, that's very interesting that you guys are doing that, and the whole company itself is maintaining the startup culture. Um, Talking about that, what I have not seen, at least in enterprises, is that that someone is able to pursue like an MBA while they're working full time for another company, and it is probably very hectic, and also you need some support from the company, right? So how did you come to this decision, and how do you manage the workload of working and of studying? How does that work?
Yeah, so Richard, it is definitely a challenge when you are doing two full-time things parallelly. And MBA is your also full-time course, and your job is a full-time course, and both are dynamic in nature. Job can take hours beyond your capacity, and study can take
Right.
hours beyond your capacity. Yeah. So I decided to pursue MBA because I wanted to better understand that how projects are planned and delivered from a management perspective. Even if you are going into a purely technical side, when you are a 6 year 7 year experienced guy, you are a team lead. Eventually you have to handle a team. You cannot go away from that responsibility that I cannot tackle that. I will not tackle the team, I will not tackle the challenges. So basically I thought that if we are here, we are tackling the challenges, then why to tackle it in a lenient way? Let's tackle it with full professionalism. So basically, it's about seeing the bigger picture and learning how to lead the teams, how to manage the risk effectively, how to learn the whole project management life cycle. So managing work and study is not always easy, but I organized and prioritized what important. Sometimes it's late night, weekend studies, weekend work, but I remind myself that I am doing an investment in my growth and having a clear goal and staying motivated when things are getting complex and busy. That's the key to it.
Right. I'm sure it must be, at least you must be having like an 18-hour day, if not if not more. But yeah, I mean that's some amazing work. But now, like since you're pursuing an MBA, I have not done an MBA, to be honest. I've done a ME, Masters in Engineering. So
Yeah.
it's even more interesting for me that how does an MBA actually work. So आपके day to day मतलब work में कुछ एमबीए जो आप अभी कर रहे हो उसका कोई एप्लीकेशन है, कोई इम्पैक्ट है, मतलब डज इट एक्चुअली help on your day to day work? So if someone decides that they want to do an MBA, is it just theoretical and then eventually you get a better job, or does it actually affect what you're working on today?
रचित, पहला मैनेजमेंट तो ये है कि मैं जॉब और एमबीए साथ पे कर पा रहा हूँ, सो दैट्स व्हाट आई
Yes. Very
so
true.
so yeah, so that's first thing I learned. And I find myself using what I learn all the time. For example, like when I have to manage the risk, when I have to identify the potential threats, potential issues early in the project, and how I will tackle them, and things like stakeholder management, communication strategies, and resource management have improved a lot. And how I was interacting before with the client and with the stakeholders, with the team members, and how uh, I communicating now, and how I am strategically thinking not just on the coding and specifications, but overall structure of the code, which is making an impact. So on day-to-day life, not on the professional life, I will say, Rachit, in the personal life also. Management is all life is all about management, how you are managing the things, how you are fixing that 24 hours effectively in your life. So yeah, so that MBA is currently doing that thing for me.
Right, right. No, that's that's pretty cool, and that's pretty hectic as well, for sure. Abhina, since we're already 15 minutes past, there's something which I've been wanting to talk about to everyone, to be very honest. So, as you can see, we're right now, जैसे वो .com bubble start हुआ था, I would not call it a bubble now, but let's call it a revolution, right? So we're bang in the middle of an AI revolution. Now, when we get to the other side, right, we don't know what's gonna happen, where we all will be, and especially for developers, it's getting very, I would say, tricky, because we might, so while we're saying that everyone can become a 10x developers, that also means that for a task where we need 10 developers, we need one developer, right? So for people in right now, just let's say, passing out from college, or let's say in their first year of work, what AI tools or techniques or courses do you think they should start exploring to stay relevant and to not eventually become irrelevant and laid off for the for the worst of it?
Yeah, so talking about AI, Rachit, basically there are two types of audience here. Audience, that one who thinks that AI is very bad, one who thinks that AI is very good, one who thinks AI will get take over all the jobs, one who thinks that AI will give the jobs. So basically, we are in the middle. AI will not take over all the jobs, or AI will not is not going to give so many jobs. So basically, when some drastic change comes into an industry, it always create a chaos in that. So basically, there are some great AI tools are there for developers, like GitHub Copilot, which is getting used in so many organizations right now, because GitHub Copilot is provided by GitHub, and GitHub is already a repo which is used by all the organizations. So it is more trustworthy. So tools like ChatGPT, CodeBuddy, and there are a lot of tools which are currently in the market, which are used for debugging the code, understanding the logic. Because what happens, Rachit, that if you are going to write a code which has been written by anyone else, so it takes 2 3 days to understand that what logic they have implemented, what services they have used. There are a lot of things. So that 2 3 days now you can save just by asking that your code buddy, your co-pilot, that what this code is doing, and it can explain you all of that. So it can also generate boilerplate code like setter, getters, all of that things. MCP servers are now getting very high right now, and the IDs like IntelliJ and Eclipse, they are integrating with the AI, so they have their own AI platform. So it is making very easier to test, deploy code. So basically, if you are going to learn how to work with AI, like APIs, Open AI, Azure services, Google Cloud AI, so you can start adding intelligent features in your own projects. So it will basically enhance your capability. It will enhance your working way. So, but it is equally important to stay aware of your company's policy. Means you cannot go and put your code on ChatGPT or any open source that this is a code explain me. So data uses and security. These are the two main tasks which we have to tackle while we are using or integrating the AI tools. So not everything should go into AI tool, especially sensitive or client related code should only go to that AI tools, or should be only integrated with those AI tools on which we got confirmation. So basically, I always say that you cannot be judge of your own case. So basically, if you are doing something, then you have to take the permission of that. You cannot do it openly or in your own way, basically.
True, true, absolutely. This is a very interesting aspect from an enterprise level, because we work in the startup space. So, we don't really care so much. Like, there are no very strict rules, to be honest. Especially with respect to code, there might be very strict rules with respect to secrets and your
Yeah,
API keys and all of that. But
yeah,
code, usually there are no strict rules. But as an enterprise, do you think कि मतलब मैंने काफ़ी लोगों से बात करी है और मेरे को जो दिख रहा है कि ना ये इंटरप्राइजेस बहुत ज़्यादा जो बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट हैं, राइट, दे आर एक्चुअली लूजिंग आउट
yeah,
बिकॉज ऑफ द स्ट्रिक्टनेस.
yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that? Like, do enterprise, and but there's another side of the coin as well, that इतने data leaks हो रहे हैं इस समय कि it is just scary, right? And for anyone who's dealing with anything which is very critical, they need to be strict and they need to control the use of AI. But what do you think? Like, what, how do you think the future looks for such enterprises who need to be very, very strict with AI? And how do you think the future looks for enterprises which are very lenient?
So basically, Rachit, what is happening, that I will give you an example, that if you have a hot bottle at 80 90 degree Celsius, and if you put your finger inside that, immediately you will take out that finger and you will say that I
Right,
am burnt. But if you keep your finger in 5 degree and slowly increase the temperature, then at 80 degree you are saying that I am like a like very comfortable position, there is no issues in me. So
right,
basically
right.
you don't have to jump into it something saying that let's do it, or you don't have to took out from it. Basically you have to very dramatically and slowly you have to indulge into those practices which are coming to the market. If you are going away from them, if you are ignoring from them, then some other person is using them. Okay, so basically, you have to take care that what things are going on in the market. You have to adopt them. You have to learn them, and you have to provide a proper skill set to your employee or to your audience so that they can use it effectively. Effectiveness, security, data protection. These are the keywords. If you are adhering to these keywords, then you can use any of the tools, any of the technology. So basically, if one company is doing something in a far better way than yours, and you are saying that I will do it using the manpower only, I am not integrating something to it, then eventually you will lose the whole space in that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Right. Yeah. So basically, you need to implement all AI tools possible, but you need to be a little slow about it. Like, you
Slow
cannot
about
be
it. Right.
cannot be very, very fast, especially if you're an enterprise. As a startup, I think you need to be fast and break things, like Steve Jobs said. But yeah, but as an enterprise, that's very true. तो ये तो देखिए, ये तो डेवलपर साइड पे हो गया. एंड डेवलपर साइड पे पर्सनली आई नो, आई यूज कर्सर अ लॉट. कर्सर इज बिकम लाइक माय सेकंड बेस्ट बडी. But and of course GitHub, there are a lot of things. अब बिजनेस के साइड पे क्या टूल्स हैं? मतलब एक तो आपने चलिए मीटिंग का मेरे को बताया, एंड दैट इज ऑफ कोर्स वेरी वेरी यूजफुल फॉर श्योर. लाइक जो भी आपके हैं, फायर फ्लाइज हैं और काफ़ी सारे ये मीटिंग रिकॉर्डर्स हैं जो एंड में
Yeah.
करते हैं. What are the other sort of tools in the AI space? How do you think it's evolving in the next 2-3 years? And कौन से ऐसे skills थे जो पहले important नहीं थे जो अब important होंगे because of AI in the business space?
Yeah. So first of all, Rachit, that if you are using an AI tool, first you have to understand yourself only, then you can tell that AI that what you are thinking. AI will not go into your mind and will say that yeah, you are thinking that much thing, this much thing. First of all, you have to understand from the client that what client is saying. You can summarize it, you can write a prompt and you can give to AI. Then it may give you a correct solution, or it may give you a solution which is nearly correct. So basically, it is taking over your repetitive task in data gathering, creating initial draft of the documents. Like you have given some task that you can create these FRDs, VRDs, SRS, or types of documents. It can create a initial draft. After that, you can do check and balances on that documents, that what it has put, what it has haven't put. So which frees up the space of the analyst for more strategic thinking and problem solving, basically nowadays. So that means that if you but your emotional intelligence should be involved in that. If you ask someone that how we can do this job in one day, he will say work 24 hours, but it is out of the scope. That is AI, it is saying to work 24 hours, but emotionally it is not possible to work 24 hours. So the
Of course.
emotional intelligence, ability to interpret AI generated things. So basically these works a lot. And tools, if you will ask from me, Zira, Confluence, Power BI, all of the tools are getting integrated with the
Right.
AI plugins. And if you are using that tools, all of them provided the AI integration, so you can basically perform the right queries, all of that
Got it. Got it. No, that makes sense. So all the existing tools themselves are getting AI
integrated.
so
Yeah,
integrated. So there's
yeah,
nothing very off market which we need. Like as long as you're well versed with the existing project management and all of those
yeah,
tools, you're basically good to go. Fair
right.
enough. That's fair. Abhi, tell me something. If there's someone who's, let's say, listening and he's in either the first or the second year of their work, not college, but I would say work, and they want to, let's say, follow a similar path and go into business analytics, analysis, or MBA or things like that, because ऑफ कोर्स अभी डेव्स का वैसे भी बोलते हैं कि पहले पहले सब इंजीनियरिंग कर लेते हैं फिर सोचते हैं करना क्या है
So like
तो कोई आपके पास क्या स्टेप्स हैं मतलब व्हाट आर द स्टेप्स व्हिच समवन शुड टेक फ्रॉम लेट्स से अभी मैं सेकंड ईयर में हूँ और मैं चाह रहा हूँ मैं मतलब सेकंड ईयर ऑफ वर्क में हूँ और मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि मैं अपना एमबीए परस्यू करना चाहता हूँ तो क्या करना चाहिए मेरे को व्हाट आर द स्टेप बाय स्टेप थिंग्स व्हिच आई शुड डू
so first, Rachit, if you are in a technical side and you want to manage both of them, or you want to move into a business side, so my first suggestion will be that get ready solid in your technical skills. Understand how system works, data flows, coding basics. That's your foundation. Because a good analyst can only be that person who knows how system work flow is working. And second, starts getting involved in requirement gathering, client conversation, listen carefully and ask questions why something is needed, not just how to build it. If you are building something, get to know that what impact it is getting on the end user. Then you can give suggestions. Then if we improve that things, it will impact more, it will impact less, it will get cost efficient, it will not get cost efficient. But if you are working like a robot, that he is saying to create this feature, you are just going and opening your keyboard and creating that feature, then you can never get into the analyst part until and unless you are not able to know that what end user is getting from your feature development. So third practice is that whether it is user stories, where it is documentations, everything, or just email, simple email. Communication is a key. If you are communicating with those documents easily, if someone is reading your documents, someone is reading your emails and able to interpret all things, then you are on the right path. And after that, the last point, if I will say, learn some key project management and business concept. There are a lot of business concept in the market. People take it very lightly, but they are very efficient into the long term, like the stakeholder mapping, prioritization frameworks. Like there is a 2 minute strategy, means the work which you can do in 2 minutes, complete it right now. So there is an
okay
yeah, Eisenhower matrix. There is $100 technique. So these are the techniques. If you use these techniques, then you will people never read them, never use them. But if you actually apply in your concepts day to day life, you will see that how fast things are working, how fast you are delivering, how fast you are prioritizing your work. So basically, these things, if you are started to in your graduation in your second year, first year only, then basically when you will step into the technical domain, then you are far away from others which are not doing this. And finally, be patient. It will take times to develop both these strategies. It will not come in one day, but stay curious and open to learning. That's all.
Right, right. No, absolutely. I think patience is one of the very important things, be it in your career or in the startup world. That's very, very underrated. And
Yeah,
yeah, things do fall in place eventually if you
yeah,
keep working hard.
working
Yeah.
right.
So I think this is the last question that अगर आप अपने 4 साल पहले 5 साल पहले जब आपने करियर अपना स्टार्ट किया था, इफ यू गेट टू स्पीक टू दैट पर्सन अगेन, और आपको एक चीज, उसको एक एडवाइस देने की परमिशन है, बस एक एडवाइस, तो आप उसको क्या देना चाहोगे कि व्हाट व्हाट शुड ही हैव डन डिफरेंटली, एंड व्हाट एडवाइस वुड यू वांट टू गिव?
So basically, what advice I will give that first of all, focus on why more than how. What I mentioned before.
हम्म
If you are
हम्म
doing something, if you are doing a graduation, why you are doing it, instead of how you will do it, how you will pass that. Basically, if you are focusing on the end result, if you are focusing on your things that what will fall in place, when they will fall in place, that will matter the more. And even after that, if you are doing something, then do it with full dedication. Otherwise there is no point of doing that, doing this thing, doing that thing. And don't miss anything, don't take it lightly. If you are, there is a workshop, there is a podcast, there is anything you are attending, attend it wisely, because one advice here and there can change your career fully. Okay, so basically, when we are in our graduation, post graduation, we always think that this is very light, we cannot attend, we will not attend this, we will not attend that, but that's not a good idea. If you are attending something, and even in the 50-minute session, 1 hour session, 2 hour session, if you are taking one or two key points, that may can change your career forever. So don't be afraid to speak up, share your ideas, even if you are new. That confidence can open doors for you and help you go faster.
That's very true. That's a brilliant piece of advice on advice, because wherever I am, I think वही होता है कि आप conferences and all we keep attending, and we keep listening to a lot of speakers here and there, but yeah, like in a 50-minute session, maybe there's like 2 minutes which actually change your life, right?
Change your life,
And
right?
that's very very important, and I
like
100%
like
agree.
one quote in the whole book can change your life, but you have to read
Exactly.
the whole book
To
for
get
that
to
one
that
quote.
one quote,
That one
yeah,
quote.
absolutely, absolutely. I have a mentor, and he in the startup world, and what he said also was very similar, but for a entrepreneur, that you, as entrepreneurs, we work for 20 years, 30 years, maybe 10 years, but there's usually just 1 or 2 days which are inflection points in the whole entrepreneurial journey, right? And those
Right.
1 or 2 days are what you have to work for the rest of your life, and you have to basically strive for that one day or those 2 days, and that's what basically affects
and
the whole of your journey.
and building 1 or 2 days takes years on years.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great, Agam. Thank you so much. There's if let's say there's any of our listener and they want to connect with you, or follow your journey, then what do you think? Where can they connect, and where can they speak to you after
So
this podcast?
yeah, so they can. I am pretty active on LinkedIn, so that's the best place to reach me out there and see. And what I am up to professionally, what I'm doing, why I'm currently pursuing, and do you have any suggestions to ask? I am able to give it, open to give it. And if you want, I can chat anytime, whenever I am free. So that's the place where we can connect anything.
Great, great. That's wonderful. And yeah, so guys, you've heard it. You can connect with him on LinkedIn, and he's always there, ready for advice to juniors. And that's how actually I found him, because from what I heard, that okay, Agam sir is one of the best seniors we have, and he guides everyone, and he's very helpful and very kind. So, and I can see that today in the last 30 minutes, I've seen. All your advice very very well thought of, and it comes from the heart and comes from a very good place, and yeah, all the best to you, Agam. Any last words which you want to say before we end the podcast?
So my final thoughts is like that. I would say don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. That's the only 5 6 years in which you don't have to be in your comfort zone. So engineers start asking more questions about the business side. It will help you to get a bigger picture. And at the end of the day, it's all having been curious and open to learning from each and every side, each and every direction, wherever you are getting to learn something new. From whomever you are getting to learn something new, your junior, senior, any person. So that's what really helps you to grow and add values. Keep learning, keep growing. That's all I can say.
Amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Have a wonderful day, Agam. Have a wonderful day to all the listeners. Bye bye.
Thank you, Ruchi. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you. Bye.